honestly, you just focus on your goals.
Mm-hmm.
Focus on your goals. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you got to have goals outside of, your friends and your boyfriend. You got to have like personal goals. And I always tell, I have certain friends, it's like, when all this is said and done, you got to be able to pay your rent. You
That's
know
a
what I
fact.
mean?
That is a
Like,
fact.
it's all these like hysterical things going on, and you're arguing with this person. We want to key this person's car and put sugar in the tank. That's cool. I'm not gonna pull up for all that, but just know this: at the end of the day, you have a future, and nobody else is gonna make sure that you're okay but you.
Mm-hmm.
So, for me, a big thing that distracted me and kind of got me out of a lot of bad relationships was really throwing myself into my work, throwing myself into my music, into school.
Yeah.
Like, I have other stuff to worry about. Like, yeah, you might not be, but also, like, I have stuff to do.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Growing Up Latina. I am your host, Alyi V. Thank you so much for joining me. We have a very special guest, and I'm so glad to have her because she's actually leaving. Like, she's busy, guys. She is busy and booked. She's on tour right now.
Yeah.
Savannah Cristina.
Hi.
What's going on?
I'm chilling. So happy to be here.
Yo, you made a quick stop for me.
Yeah, for real.
Seriously.
But I had to.
Thank you.
Of course.
Thank you so much. How do you feel?
I feel really good. I feel really blessed. Yeah.
It's been crazy for you, I'm sure.
It has been crazy in a good way.
God.
Yeah.
I want to hear all about it.
Yes.
Let's cheers because
okay.
We are in the holiday season, girl. So you know how we do coquito vibes.
Hi.
Yo, coquito vibes.
It's
Yo.
hitting. Let me find out you made this.
Ooh.
It's good.
I love a good coquito vibes. What do you do for the holidays?
Family.
Yeah?
Yeah, I can't skip that.
What's like
Can't
your
skip that.
tradition? What's the family
just
tradition?
sitting around and eating. It's crazy. We never really did gifts growing up. My parents just, they didn't believe in it.
Yeah.
But food, lots of togetherness, lots of music.
So are we celebrating in your family December 24th or the 25th?
So my mom's side, the
Okay.
24th, so we go there.
Okay.
But my dad he's from New York.
Okay.
And he's not Hispanic, so we
Okay.
do traditional Christmas with his side.
Okay, so
yeah.
break down. So your mom is Dominican.
Yeah.
Shout out to your mom.
I know, right?
Okay. And then your dad is?
He's from New York,
Okay.
but he was born in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a small dot on the map.
This is a vibe.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I like this mix for you.
Yeah, I do
Okay.
too.
And where are you from?
I'm from Miami, Florida.
Ooh.
Miami
So this
girl.
New York weather's hitting you hard, I'm sure.
It is. It's a little bit of a shock, but like my dad always had me coming out here, so I was a little prepared for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got to get into your music.
Yes.
And I was telling you off camera, I've been hearing about you for a long time now.
That's amazing.
So like when one of your friends are like, yo, check out for this girl, like please like keep your ears out, like she's gonna be something big, trust me. I've heard that from 3 people.
Dang. I love to hear it.
From 3 people, they're like, yo, listen to her song. And I'm like, oh, I think I should listen to her song because everyone's now talking about it. How did you get into this? Did you have someone in your family that, did the music?
No. So my parents were very big on school, not very big on music.
Okay.
But, I grew up in the church.
Okay.
And when I was a little girl, I just saw the way that music would move people and make people cry. And I was like, I want to do that.
I want to make people cry.
I want to make people cry.
Okay.
So, yeah, I was a spoken word poet at first.
I was just talking to someone about that. So in New York, we have the New Yorican Cafe.
Yes, girl.
Okay, you're familiar.
Yes.
That was growing up. That's where I was. I was at the
Right.
New Yorican Cafe, and I was always like stage fright. Like I was one of those girls that was very shy. But I had all these poems that I really wanted to like go up on stage, but I couldn't.
You didn't do it.
Never.
Oh, so it's to be continued.
To be continued.
Okay.
So
That's okay.
so you went there. So you went to the New Yorican Cafe?
So I went there just as a fan. So
Okay.
the person that really inspired me, and she probably doesn't even know who I am, maybe, Aja Monet.
Mm-hmm.
She's a spoken word poet from out here.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw her when I was like 14 years old, and I was like, I want to do this. And so I started doing poetry. I started doing slams. I was in Brave New Voices, like one slams, did all that stuff. But I didn't realize I was just preparing myself to becoming a songwriter. But that's how it started with poetry. Yeah.
And you would go up, and do you remember some of the poems that you would
Oh
recite?
my God, yes. It was
You
like,
do?
of course. It was all about like breakups and,
Why is it always about the breakups?
because I think that's our first experience with like rejection, I think, to that capacity. And so it was about like boys and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was,
And then you would recite these poems.
yes.
And then people would just like,
People
what
would,
was their reaction?
they would be like, they would relate.
Yeah.
And that was for me the most validating feeling, people being able to say like, I feel you. I feel where you're coming from. You're not crazy. I went through the same thing. Every time I hear that, I'm like, oh my God. It's like a weight lifted off my shoulders. So that's what got me addicted to like sharing.
And can you share like your, you don't have to recite it, but like your favorite poem?
It was like, I'm done. This love is dilapidated and disconnected. Bills were left unpaid on due dates when I needed you, wanted you. You were unreachable. Roaming calls and answering machines. I was giving that phone so much play, and you were just playing me. It's stuff like that. It's like,
yo, what age were you?
Right. And I look back and I'm like, I was like,
how are you feeling?
15, 16.
Whoa.
Yeah, just sensitive. I've been sensitive.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so then you go from spoken word poet, and now how does that translate into now singing? Like, when did you find your voice?
Oh, it was a long road, but it wasn't really until like I hit college. I was always scared to sing. So I could get on stage and spit. That was cool.
Right.
When I had to sing, I was like,
really?
shaking. Yeah, but when I got to college, I met some friends. We made some songs in the dorm room, and I got to really get into music as a way to be social, in my college days. And that's what got me into music, right? I started with SoundCloud, so no pressure. Just put on SoundCloud, see what the people say, and just slowly stepped into it.
And what were the people saying?
The same thing, girl. I know exactly what you're going through, all that. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was college like for you? Were you surrounded by many creatives?
Yeah, it was a mix. There was a lot of people that were in the same position as me, right? That could only take music as a hobby because we couldn't afford to do anything else. We couldn't go all out. So for us, it was like a side thing. It's just something fun to do at somebody's house. We would throw shows. I threw a little open mic like in backyards. Like we would do it like that. It was really fun.
Yeah.
But after a while, you start to see some of your friends like, okay, I can't do this music stuff anymore.
Yeah.
And I one by one, started to see friends like, all right,
like I'm done.
I'm done.
Retired.
Yeah, I'm done. But it just always stuck with me, and I couldn't let it go.
Were you singing in the shower? Because everybody sings in the
shower.
Well,
yeah,
to give
of course
that.
I was singing in the shower.
The shower, the room,
everywhere.
everywhere.
I did have roommates, so
okay.
I had to be very quiet. I would go on the staircase in my dorm, but yeah.
Now, what was it like growing up Latina in Florida?
I mean, everybody's Latina in Florida.
Yeah.
If you're in South Florida, like Miami, for me it was nice. When I lived in Miami, I was amongst a lot of Latina, people. When I moved to Broward County, which is like the home of like Kodak Black, XXX Tentacion, it's more of an urban community. Where I grew up, it was very urban.
Yeah.
And it was just different.
Yeah.
It was different. And
in what way? Like, what way would you say that it was different?
I would say that is when I got more in touch with my Black side, right? Because there's that like that half and half, and you never really know how to identify. And it's so funny because my abuelita, she would pick me up from school every day. We would walk, She didn't drive. And she would walk to pick me up every day. And she's like this little short lady and super like pale, and she would come to school. And I remember around the time when I started getting embarrassed, like, oh my gosh. People like, who's that lady? Who is she? And I'm like, yo, that's my grandma, but it was funny. when I moved to Broward, I started to kind of feel less and less connected to my roots.
Your roots.
Yeah.
But it is weird, right? Because I even went through that, like with
Yeah.
my mother and my father, because I grew up with my mom who's Puerto
Yeah.
Rican. I was born in Puerto Rico. So for a long time,
Yeah.
people would ask me, well, what are you? I'm like, I'm Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
But my dad's Dominican. But I never gave the I'm Puerto Rican and Dominican.
Yeah.
Because
you don't want to do too much.
I just felt like I identify with being Puerto Rican because
Yeah.
I was raised in that household. I was,
Yeah.
like
Yes.
that was everything that I knew.
Yeah.
As I got older, then I was like, wait, I'm Dominican as
Mhm.
well. And then I had to tap into those roots
Yeah.
and like get the culture there. So now I appreciate it more.
Yeah. It's hard to balance those two things
It
because you don't
is.
want to be disloyal to one.
For
And
sure.
it is a push and pull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some of the, I guess you would say, like Latin stereotypes that bother you?
Oh my God. So it's so funny. You know, a lot of times dating, somebody will ask you like, "Oh, what are you?" Especially if they're not sure.
Mm-hmm.
You always get the question, "What are you? What are you?" And I'll be like, I'm this, and I'm half Dominican, and they'll be like, "Oh, so you crazy?"
I was just about to say
I'm
that.
like, no.
Oh my God, I was just about to say that.
Like, oh, so you crazy? You da 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 da. And it was almost like they were excited about it. Like it was like a fetish. And I'm just like, no, I'm not finna be crazy about you. But yeah, that is something that would come up a lot, like that stereotype that, oh, I'm this spicy, feisty, Dominican, which may or may not be true, but still, don't put me in that stereotype.
It bothered me. Like,
Yeah.
I would say, oh, I'm Puerto Rican and Dominican and I live in the Bronx. They're like, oh, you must be crazy.
Right.
That's like the craziest. And it really like affected me. Like, why are you saying that?
Yeah. Yeah,
Crazy.
absolutely. But are you crazy is the question.
No, I mean, aren't we all a little crazy?
Yeah, exactly.
Aren't we all a little crazy?
Exactly. And it's not because of where we're from.
Now, one thing I've noticed about you, which I told you even when I saw you, I said, you have beautiful curls.
Oh, thank you.
Now, growing up, how accepted was that?
I had a perm. So I'm Dominican.
Yeah.
So understand, I was getting perms, and my tia owned a salon in Miami, like near Alapata, and I was there every weekend, and they were straightening my hair. I never wanted to wear my hair curly.
Really?
No.
Is this because they told you not to, or?
It was just because everybody in my family had their hair straight. And anytime something important was happening, I had to get my hair straightened. So for me, that taught me when you want to be presentable, your hair needs to be straight. And, I remember when I would walk into the salon as a kid and they would be like looking at my hair like, oh my God, we got to do this girl's hair,
Right.
But I felt so much prettier when my hair was permed and straight. And so this curls thing is new for me.
How new?
I just
would you
did
say?
I did the big chop in like 2016, and then my hair was short forever, and then now it's growing. But like it's fairly new. I didn't grow up like with curly hair. My hair was always permed.
Really?
Yeah.
So I say that as well because even like job interviews,
Mm-hmm.
mommy always taught me like, you wear your hair straight.
Yeah.
You never go to a job interview with your hair curly.
Yeah.
And my hair was long, like up to my butt, so I would wrap it in a doobie
Yeah.
like
oh my God.
5 times.
Yeah.
And then you put the bobby pins, and then when you get up in the morning, you take them out, your head be so sore. Like,
yes.
you just like massaging the scalp.
Yes.
But it's like, why do we think that about hair? Because now I look at myself and I'm like, I love my curls.
Yeah. But
Like,
it's still difficult, and it's ingrained in us, and it's just, I deal with it even every day. I had graduation, and I graduated from college, and I'm like, I should be straightening my hair. I'm like, I have to send these pictures to my family, like, my hair should be straightened. And then, somebody told me, just do you.
yeah.
But I was getting anxiety even about that, about my graduation pictures, because, like,
No.
curly hair is, like, not presentable.
So when was the first time that you can remember where you rocked your curls and you felt beautiful?
Dang, that's a good question. I guess just, like, after I did my big chop, so, there's an ugly phase after the big chop.
Yeah.
So I was looking real crazy. And then, when it started to grow out and stuff like that, I started to really own it a little bit more when it became like a fro.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, oh, this is hot. And, obviously some people liked it, some people didn't, but I loved it. It was so funny because my mom would always ask me, like, when are you going to get your hair done? And I'm like, my hair is done. It's done. This is it.
And what was her reaction when you told her that?
After a while, she started to really like it. But
Yeah.
it just took some getting used to.
What's so dope
Yeah.
about this story is like now this has become your look.
Yeah, it has. It has. And I fought for this, you know what I
Did
mean?
you?
And it's not just family. You go into meetings with different people in the industry and stuff like that, and there's still a fight to
Yeah.
get this hair to be accepted. And you would think like, oh no, there are people that believe that. Like there are people that tell me like, nah, like the curls, that ain't it. That ain't gonna work.
No, that's it.
Yeah.
Like this is it.
You know that, but
That's the first thing I told you.
yeah, but we're still fighting every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the most difficult part of the music industry?
The most difficult part. I think I got through the most difficult part, and I think it's just being around people and having a team that believes in you. Like I said, I dealt with a team that every time I walked into a room with my hair like this, they're like, "What? We told you needed to get your hair done. Like, what is this?"
Yeah.
That was really hard for me
Mhm.
because I had people like you, the people who I'm actually catering to who love it. But then I had the people who were on my team
Like
telling
the machine that's
yeah,
running. Yeah.
and not even they wasn't even, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, telling me like, I heard stuff like, men are not going to be attracted to you. You're not going to you're only going to bring in an older crowd with hair like this. This is not attractive. How are we going to put you in? Yeah, how are we going to do photo shoots and put you in certain editorial looks if your hair
these
is
were
like
real
this?
conversations?
These are real conversations.
Wow.
Very real conversations. And I think my breaking point was, I had a music video with a rapper that I love. And
Who's the rapper?
I don't want to name drop, but her
Okay.
name is Flo Millie. She's amazing.
Okay.
I requested her. They asked me who I wanted. And so we did a music video. And I remember like begging them. I said, let me wear my hair. Please let me wear my hair.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, absolutely not. So they put me in this crazy wig, child. Crazy wig. And I remember looking in the mirror and just not knowing what I was looking at. I didn't look like me. I watched the video. I'm like, I don't know who this bitch is. And like, it was a wake up call for me. Like, yo, like, you know who you are. Don't let nobody tell you anything different.
Yeah.
And from then, I started putting my foot down. Now, do I do switch ups? I always switch up my hair. I always do braids. And if I want my hair to be straight, I can rock it in the winter, But to feel like I have to conform, it's never a good feeling.
No.
No.
It's never a good feeling.
It's terrible.
Who are some of the artists that you looked up to, like in the music business,
Right.
where you felt like you could really identify?
I was just talking about this today. Jill Scott is a woman after my own heart. She is
Jilly from Philly.
Yes, she is also an Aries like me.
Yes.
But she's also a spoken word poet.
Love her.
So for her, everything that she does and what she embodies is very like, she shows me like it's possible. You know what I'm saying? Jill Scott did it. You know what I'm saying? And I always tell myself that Jill did it. So I really do look up to her a lot.
I love Jill Scott. Like that's one of the artists that I'm like, if I had to see like my last concert ever, Jill Scott would be Jill Scott and Sade.
Ooh.
Right?
Ooh, yeah. I've seen Jill in concert. Jill is amazing.
I love Jill in concert.
Yes, she's amazing. I have not seen Sade. I don't think I'll ever be able to see Sade. But she's amazing too.
I don't, like, where is she? Like, where does she live? Like, I'm like.
She did what she needed to do and she was like, okay, bye.
It.
Yeah.
What about some of, like, the Latina artists?
I would have to say, like, Latina. I love, like, I don't know if this counts as a Latina, but I love Bad Bunny. I love what he stands for. I love that as of late, he goes on stage and he speaks about politics and he's very, you know what I mean? Like, he's very into that. And, I think that it's important for us to remember where we come from. Obviously, I wasn't born in DR, but, like, I was just there, like, a few months ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I grew up in a family where you send clothes back. You send food back.
Absolutely.
A lot of people don't do that. They don't get it. Like,
No,
you send money
yeah.
back.
Yeah,
like, that's how I was raised. And so it's kind of like what he's doing is like, it's embodying that, but in the sense of you use your platform to build your people. And I really do love that.
I love Bad Bunny. And I think he's like, I always say about Bad Bunny, he's the artist that we never knew we needed.
Yeah.
Right?
It changed the conversation. There's this other girl too, and I hope
Mhm.
I say her name right. Yendra.
Yes.
Okay, did I mess up
Yes.
her name?
I think it's Yentry.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
talking
yeah. Oh,
about.
I love her.
Yendri or Yen.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. It takes
Love
it to
her.
a new space. So
Yeah.
yeah.
She's deep. She gets deep,
Yeah,
which I love.
absolutely.
Who's someone that you would want to work with?
That's a really good question. I don't know. I really
Really?
don't. No, you know
There gotta be
what?
one person.
Specifically Latina?
Or just anyone.
Okay, because that was gonna be a
Yeah,
conversation if you
no,
would have said
just
that.
anyone.
In general, I love lyricists, I don't wanna say, J. Cole. Well, fuck it, Imma
Yeah.
think big. I love J. Cole,
Yeah,
I would love
think
to work with
big.
him.
Yeah.
But honestly, I'm such a, like, to myself person when I create,
Mm-hmm.
I really don't collaborate that much.
No? So it'll
No.
be like a new thing for you if you
Yeah, because
did.
I get nervous. Yeah,
You
I get
don't strike me as a
nervous.
nervous person.
Because I'm so vulnerable in my music, I just can't imagine anybody else being able to tap in with me on that level. But I
Really?
would be
Not
so
even Jill?
happy.
What if Jill's like,
See,
let's do
no, Jill's a
Yeah,
different
now we changed the
conversation.
conversation.
Yes, she's a different conversation. But
Yeah.
I want to work with everybody. It would be an honor. This is still so new for me.
Yeah.
I want to work with everybody, and I want to work with people who get me. And that's what I'm looking forward to. So,
Why do you feel people gravitate towards you?
I represent a certain demographic of person, I believe, and that is the discarded and the
Mhm.
neglected. And I
Mm.
feel like my journey represents like when you come back and and that person that hurt you sees you again, but they see you shining.
Mm.
And that's what
Talk
I
about that one.
represent. Yeah, you know
I
what I'm
love that.
saying?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I represent. And so the people that feel my music, I feel like they felt like me, felt discarded, thrown away, just done dirty. Somebody left you for dead. And then you come back and you like, I done leveled up. You know what I mean? And that's what I stand for. So every song I make is for that. And I think when these women and men see me shine,
Mm-hmm.
they're like, yeah, like we can all do that. You know what I mean? We
Yeah.
can all find power in our pain.
Yeah.
So,
I love that. Power in your pain.
yeah. Turn the pain into
And
something.
no, because your songs, like, let's go to self-care.
Yeah.
Let's go to that. So
Yeah.
when did you tap into self-care, specifically self-care? Because you would have had to have went through so much to get to that point, right?
Yeah. I'm somebody who was not self-care savvy. Definitely didn't take care of myself, put myself last. Like that's what I did. I was dating somebody for a long time who was really, really like toxic, really abusive, really crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I wasn't thinking about myself at all. I was in a job that I wasn't happy about.
What job were
Didn't
you
pay
in?
enough. Girl, I don't want to say.
Okay.
I've had a lot of
Okay.
jobs though.
Okay.
I've had a lot of jobs. I've worked at T-Mobile, I've worked at the movie theater, I've worked at Cheesecake Factory. Like, I've worked at a lot of places. But
Right.
this particular job I won't say because they're not bad people. But
Okay. That's fair.
I just wasn't happy. And
That's a real, I feel like I felt the same way.
you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
it's not you, it's me, I guess.
Yeah, especially when you're not passionate about the job. It doesn't matter what, you could have $1 million job, but if that's not something that you're tapped in with all the way, it's never gonna
Yeah.
make you happy.
It's never gonna make you happy. And so I was like, I don't wanna do this. I was living for everybody except for myself. And, I wasn't doing my skincare routines. I wasn't, doing my hair care. None of that. I was just, I don't know what I was
So
doing.
you were like existing, but you
I was
didn't feel like you were living.
existing. I didn't feel like I was living at all. And I didn't feel like anybody could see me. And
What?
that's why I took my equipment out to the beach. And I'm
Mm.
like, you gonna see me. Because I felt invisible. And so that's really what brought about self-care for sure.
So let's go back. Let's go back. Let's paint the picture because this was now what, pandemic
Yeah.
is when this happened. So 2020.
Yeah.
You're at this job that you are just not happy. It's not
Not for
fulfilling you.
me. Yeah, not for
It's
me.
not fulfilling you. And then you decide, okay, I'm just going to take everything to the beach.
Yeah.
You called out of work.
Yeah. I didn't know
That's a huge risk.
I didn't know I was gonna go viral. I didn't know that.
So you call out of work, and what was their response? So what happened? So you call out of work, and you're just like, all right, I'm not coming in.
Yeah, like I'm not coming in. Like, that was before the stuff going on now where they're like, oh, mental health days, you gotta be.
Yeah.
There's a lot more lenient now,
Right.
but that's not the case.
No.
And coworkers like to talk.
Yeah.
So it's like, I wasn't expecting for anybody to see that video. Like I didn't have a plan. There was no machine behind it.
But you were conscious of like, I want to take my equipment to the beach.
Absolutely.
I want to record myself.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so you were very intentional about this.
Very intentional about it, about the location. But, I could have never expected that it would change my life the way that it would. But, the irony is that the song is about putting yourself first.
But wait, let's go back. So you call out of work.
Yeah.
You get fired.
Yes. Yeah.
So now there's like two different emotions because you're right. You didn't know you was going to go viral.
No, I didn't.
So now you get fired. They're like, all right, well, you call out. We're done with you.
Yeah.
So now you're putting your emotions now at the beach with your equipment. You're singing your heart out.
Yeah.
What's happening there? Talk to me about that.
It was just I don't know, just a divine moment. The lyrics, everything, it was just what I needed at the time. I will say, it's not like I was pressed about a job. And honestly, I feel like sometimes life forces you to, like, yo, you're at something, you ain't trying to be here.
Right.
And I feel like life was like, okay, you really want to do this music shit? Do it. Like,
but you did something that most people don't. Like, you took a leap of faith.
Yeah. Yeah.
Were you scared?
No, I had nothing to lose. When you're not happy, you don't have anything to lose. So you do whatever you want. So I wasn't scared. I was just like, okay. I was excited at that point. Like, wow, people are really listening to this.
Yeah. And then you go viral. What was that like?
That was confirmation that I know what I'm doing as a songwriter, right? Because like as a creative, you always have that question. Like I guess me, anybody with imposter syndrome, like, do I know what I'm doing?
Right.
I'm writing all these songs. Do I know, like, is this good? And I feel like that was a confirmation of, okay, yeah, like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So that's how that felt.
And then what happens after that? Where do you go? Yeah, like everything changes.
Everything changes.
So tell me what changes? I know it's everything, but there's some immediate changes that happen.
So immediately, a newfound confidence in myself, obviously, right? I'm not working a job, which is new because I've been working since I was 15.
Right.
So that was a big adjustment. I get cosigns from people like Alicia Keys, Joe Budden.
Love.
And then I meet a bunch of people that just want to work with me, and that was an interesting experience, to say the least.
So the pandemic wasn't so bad for you.
It wasn't.
You did the Roots picnic?
I did.
How was that?
Fun. I did that one, I did a whole little picnic setup and I was outside with my mic. Like, it was a good time. I loved it. It was really nice.
And then you did something for The Gap?
Yeah, I did.
Like, this is like the pandemic was fairly like.
It was, I was having a great time.
Like, you thrived.
Yeah, I feel like, honestly, I live in like my own little world. Maybe I have like main character syndrome, but I felt like I screamed into the void self-care. And then the world said, great, here you go, pandemic. You're going to be by yourself, enjoy yourself, and just focus on you. And that's exactly what happened. Yeah.
That's amazing. So you really embody the self-care.
I did. I had all the time in the world to do it. I was just like home doing all the self-care stuff. So
how do you show yourself grace? Like, what is some of your self-care routines?
And, I was just talking about this today. In the beginning, I thought it was like face mask, bubble bath, which is cool. But it wasn't getting to like the root. Now it's like, man, I'm in therapy. Like dealing with childhood trauma that I just didn't even know I had. So I'm like, spend that money that I was gonna spend on a spa day to pay my therapist and, get to know what is wrong with me,
Yeah.
It's being able to turn off my phone, has been.
That's a big one. Haven't been able to accomplish that one yet.
Yeah, your phone will drive you crazy. So
yeah.
A lot of the self-care for me now is just inner work. I have this really bad habit of ghosting people.
Not a bad habit, but
But
Because that means you don't have a problem letting go. If you
yeah.
can ghost someone, you can let them go.
Yeah, but sometimes that's like a defense mechanism because
Okay.
you don't feel like your feelings are worthy of being
Mhm.
expressed to somebody who's wronged you. That's what I
Mm.
was doing. You hurt me. I could tell you why, but I don't think you're gonna care. And who really cares?
Right.
I'm gonna just ghost you. That's what I was doing. So that was something that I also, as my self-care journey,
Mhm.
proceeded, had to deal with and learn how to fix.
So you're quick to hit the block button.
I'm I'm bad.
You're bad.
Like, nah, like you can ask people about me. Like, I'm bad. Like, you do
Jeez.
something I don't like, and that's it. Because I'm like, no, you know what I mean? But now I'm learning, like, if somebody wrongs you, talk to them. Give
Absolutely.
them the opportunity to clarify. Now, if they still are disappointing you, then, F them. But don't just block them.
What about working out?
Oh, yeah.
Because
I love to work
that's
out.
like your thing.
Yes. I love to work out.
How important is, because for me, like working out, I always say I do like a lot of PRX training. And what I always say about my PRX trainer, Yusef, is he's not a trainer that trains the body. He trains the mind.
Mm-hmm.
And that for me is the reason why I sign up every week. It's for the mental. I never work out specifically to lose weight. Now, if I lose weight, great. Then
Great.
that's an extra little icing on the cake.
Yeah.
But what it does for my mind is even bigger than what it will ever do for my body.
I agree. I right now I'm training with, I needed a female trainer because I was
Okay.
always training with guys, which
Yeah.
is fun. But
Mhm.
after a while, it's like, okay, enough. Enough.
Why? What's wrong with the male trainers?
They were just going, they're just too like, they
Rough?
were so mean to me.
Yeah.
And I was going through a lot. So I needed that female energy. So I have a coach, she's a professional bodybuilder. She's actually 58 years old.
No.
But she's
I love
she's a
this.
beast. And I train with her every morning and we do like heavy lifting now. Cause I'm trying to get my booty gains, everything like that.
Yeah.
And there are times where like I'm in that session, like I wanna cry. And not cause it hurts, but
Mhm.
because the amount of things the affirmations I have to tell myself to get through that
It's the
workout.
mind.
Yeah.
It's the mind. It's all
Yeah.
the mind.
It is all the mind.
They always say like your mind gives up before your body does.
Yeah. Ooh.
So if your mind can still tell you like do that extra push-up, you're going to
Yes.
do it.
Yes. Yes.
You're going to
So
do it.
and I take all that positive self-talk that I need to lift weights, and I use it now in my everyday life.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How does that translate to your music now?
It allows me to approach music from a very motivational standpoint.
Mhm.
I really want to encourage anybody listening to me and me, because I listen to my own music
Yeah.
to
Do
get through
you?
shit. Yeah, I make my music so that I can
Yeah.
get through my situation.
Yes.
Yeah, but it allows me to be like more motivational,
Yeah.
and really hype the girls up to push through. Yeah,
It's funny that you say that because listening to your music, like you tapped into the self-care,
yeah,
and then we go into confidence,
yeah.
and then we go into bad bitch energy. So you're showing like what I'm about to say, I really don't want you to take this in the wrong way.
Oh gosh,
But
let me hear this.
you are really for self, but in the most positive way
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah,
Like you are empowering yourself.
yeah,
And the reason why I say it's going to sound wrong is because when people say, oh, you're for self, there's like this negative thing
there's
about
nothing
that.
wrong with that.
Right.
And I grew up in a home with a Dominican mother and a Dominican great grandmother who she raised me, and I saw them give their life to their family, to me, everything for everyone, all the time. Like, that's what we do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think there's the time where we have to kind of like focus on us too. I wish my mom would have been able to have more time to like take care of herself,
Mm-hmm.
because even now I know that she missed out on a lot of opportunities to be there for us, and
Mm-hmm.
so I wanted to break the cycle. So it's okay to be a little selfish,
Yeah.
a little bit. Ain't nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that.
You're right about that because, yeah, growing up, you do see like your family they do everything for everyone else. They
Yeah.
put themselves last.
Mm-hmm.
And it does, it doesn't do us as kids any
It
service.
doesn't. And you know what? My mom used to yell at us for not helping her clean. Oh my gosh, she was so mad.
Yeah, my
And I
mom
used to be
did the
like, yo,
same.
what's wrong with this lady? Crazy. Now that I'm grown and I have my own place and I got to clean, I'm like, yo, I would be mad as hell if I had two little kids in this house that were not helping me clean up
That were
this
eating the
mess.
food, didn't do the dishes.
You know, I'm paying the bills and they're not. And so I'm growing up and realizing like, wow, my mom needed needed to be there for herself more and needed us to be there for her
She
too.
needed support.
Yeah, she needed support,
She needed
but
support.
she felt like she could do it all and didn't need to focus on herself. And so I'm trying to break that cycle
I
now.
think it's like us growing up as Latinas, we are taught to be strong,
Yeah.
right? And like you don't need anyone and you don't
Yeah.
and it's okay to need others.
Yeah.
Like now I'm in a space where it's like if I need help, I'm
Yes.
not even gonna front like I could do it on my own.
Right.
Now I am going to ask for help.
Absolutely.
And
And
it's
that's a
okay.
part of being selfish. People don't realize they think selfish is isolation. No, selfish is, hey, I need everybody in this room to take time to focus on, I need you guys to help me with something today.
Right.
That's being selfish. You could be selfish in community.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, today we're going to focus on me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe tomorrow we can help you what you got to do. But today I need all my friends to come over and help me do this.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You know, everything in moderation, but balance is key.
Talk about confidence, because that's the one that I'm struggling with. That's the one that I don't know, I haven't been able to fully tap in. I get there some days where I look in the mirror and I'm like, ooh, I look good. My makeup's on point. My hair's
Yeah.
on point, and I feel good, right?
Yeah.
But then what about the days when you're not feeling up to par, but you have to try to tap into
You got to deliver.
you got to deliver?
It's hard, you know, like I said, when I was first coming into the industry, which is recent, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
A few years ago when self-care and everything, I was bombarded by men that were working with me that constantly, like we talked about, were telling me that everything about me wasn't good enough.
Mm.
Every day. Every day.
So that just broke down your
It
self-esteem, your
broke
confidence.
me, especially coming off of self-care, self-love, selfish.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I'm doing that, but every time I step in a meeting, somebody's telling me why this isn't nice enough. Why don't I look like this? Look at this girl here. You should look like that every day. And
Wow.
I take life as a test.
Mhm.
It was a test,
Mhm.
but now I am investing in my confidence because once you're confident, nobody can talk you out of what you believe about yourself. And
Mm.
it's more like there are days where I'm gonna look a mess, but the confidence is within. I know I'm smart. I know I'm capable. I know that I have a good heart. And that's where my confidence lies. It lies in the essence of who I am. It lies in my talents, my accomplishments.
Right.
So that's how I'm able to embody that no matter, you know, what's going on the outside.
And then you made the song Confidence. And the beginning starts where you're like speaking and you're
Yeah.
so talk to me about like just creating that song and why it was so important to create a song like that. Cause that's the type of song, like I was telling you, like I'm listening to that before any big project that I do, a
Yeah.
big interview. If I'm going to the gym, it's that energy uplifting type of song.
Yeah. For me, it was, I was in the thick of it, you know, just throughout the year. I was really not feeling myself. And I needed somebody to like gas me up. We
Yeah,
don't all have a hype man,
we don't.
especially when you're doing well. People think you don't need a hype man. Like men will be like, "Oh, I'm sure people tell you you're pretty all the time." It's like, well, damn, I want you to tell me
Yeah.
too.
Yes.
I need a
Yes.
hype man, but I didn't have a lot of hype men at the time.
Mhm.
And so I wrote the song so that I could listen to it when I was not feeling my best.
Mhm.
I just recently started speaking more online to like my followers and stuff like that, and just giving them encouragement. So I incorporated that in the beginning,
Mhm.
and then I just made this song.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that was the inspiration, just to give people a hype man, a pick me up.
Do your fans ever like share experiences with you of like what they're going through and how you may have helped them get through something? And
Yeah,
what does that feel like?
for sure. Yeah, like a lot of my fans do happen to be women, and you know, a lot of them just tell me, you know, they were struggling with DV, domestic violence, which was
Mhm.
something I struggled with. That was very left field, and how they were able to get out of these relationships. That
Mhm.
was very, you know, amazing for me. It took me a really long time to get out. I think if I had the right song, maybe, I mean, but it's so much deeper than that.
Yeah.
But, you
There's
know,
so much work that goes
there's
into
so
that.
much work. Sometimes it's not safe. It wasn't safe for me to leave when I wanted to. But when I get messages from girls that say that the music is helping them get out of stuff, I'm like, oh my God, I feel like Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I help one girl get out of a bad relationship, like I do what I needed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we spoke about self-care, confidence. Let's talk about self-worth.
Mm.
Because that's another,
Yeah.
and you've had your share of experiences where you probably felt like you weren't worthy.
Yeah.
How do
Yeah.
you shift that energy? Like, how do you tell yourself, no, I am worthy.
Yeah.
I do deserve better and
Yeah.
more.
Absolutely. There's a lot of things I've turned down. There's a lot of people that are so, so important that wanted to be in my life that I was like, nah,
Mm-hmm.
because I know my worth. And like I said, for me, finding my worth was realizing who I was. Like
Mm.
sometimes you have to make a list and like list who you are, like third person,
Yeah.
because that's a big thing. We as women, or anybody, we accomplish so many things and we don't think about it twice.
Mm-hmm.
You could have just did an amazing event. By tomorrow, you're like, "Ugh, okay, what's next?"
Yeah.
We never are like, this is good enough. So I like to just write down, hey, I did this for the year. I've accomplished all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm able to find my worth. My worth can't just be how I feel objectively in the moment every single day. Some days I look a mess. Some days I'm happy. Some days I'm sad. But if I can sit down and really say, Savannah, this is who you are, I'm able to really know my value. And that's how I've been able to do it. I didn't know myself. So when
Well, who are
people,
you? Who is Savannah
who am
Cristina?
I? I am a woman that is growing and learning. I'm
Mm-hmm.
a very educated and very humble person. I know that I don't know it all. And I know that I'm going to, have a very bright future ahead of me because I'm willing to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm just excited for my future.
I love this. I love this. And now, so now you, because here's the thing, you made the song Rebound.
Oh, yeah.
That was tough. And that came from a very difficult place to the point where even you hearing it or having to perform it makes you cry.
Just performed it last night and I was going to cry.
But what
Um,
is the crying because you, like, do you feel like you've healed, or because there's something that's still triggering that emotion?
Absolutely.
So
I
that song Rebound, why is it still affecting you emotionally?
Songs like Rebound and Soul Ties and those songs that I've written, I'm so sad for the girl that I was.
Mm,
I'm so sad for her.
yeah.
There's nothing I can do. And I was just talking about this. Give me a second because I ain't finna cry. But there's nothing I can do to
Yeah.
change the past.
Yeah.
Like I see myself out of body, like the stuff that I was willing to do and go through in the past. And I really grieve that girl. Like I feel so bad for
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
But the silver lining is that the woman that I am today,
Mm-hmm.
she was made from this and I'm who I needed at that time.
Right.
If I could have mentored that girl that I was when I was going through rebounds and
Mm-hmm.
going through soul ties,
Mm-hmm.
I would be in such a better position. But I find peace in knowing that through all of that there was growth.
Right.
So,
But who does that girl run to? The girl from Rebound and the girl from Soul Ties. Who does she speak to? How does she get through it?
I don't know. It was
Because she
hard.
got through it.
She did.
But who was like the person she was able to vent to?
That's why I talk about self-love.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm very closed off. So I had to go to me and go to God. Some
Yeah.
people believe whatever you believe God is, some people think they are God. God is in you. I went to me, I went to a higher power, and I had to make the decision to love myself because nobody
Yeah.
else was gonna say, hey girl, you're tripping.
Yeah.
So it was like a really aha moment because I'm not gonna talk to my friends about, oh my God, this dude just
Yeah.
flung me across the house all day. I'm not gonna have that conversation. But I did have to look in the mirror one day and say, like, you're better than this. And that's what I did. And what I
So
did too also
mm-hmm.
was because I was making music about healing,
Mm-hmm.
it was like prophetically pushing me in that direction. Now I'm holding myself accountable. I'm telling everybody to love themselves, girl. now I'm accountable to love myself too.
Yeah.
So man, maybe that's my strategy. Maybe that's a part of it.
Do you still struggle with like self-love? Like, are there moments where you feel like maybe I don't love myself today or
I feel like, yeah, love, right? Love is constant.
Mhm.
You might love somebody, and on certain days you don't like them or you're not feeling them.
Right.
I think I always love myself. I'm not always feeling myself. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Sometimes
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, girl. But for the love is constant. There's just
Yeah.
the fluctuation. Because I hate when people always make it seem like, like self love. Oh my God, every day I'm feeling myself. Like, no,
No,
you're
that's
going to
not
have
real.
those
Yeah, that's
days.
not realistic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but just like somebody who you're married to or you're dating or whatever, your family member, you're
Mhm.
never going to stop the love. But you're going to have those fluctuations. And so
Yeah.
I deal with that sometimes. Yeah,
What's some
normally.
advice or like steps that you can give, a young Latina who's going through this, who is in the discovery part of self-love? Like, how can they find self-love?
Honestly, you just focus on your goals.
Mhm.
Focus on your goals. Like, you
Mhm.
got to have goals outside of, your friends and your boyfriend. You got to have like personal goals. And I always tell, I have certain friends, it's like, when all this is said and done, you got to be able to pay your rent. You
That's
know
a
what I
fact.
mean?
That is a
Like,
fact.
is all these like hysterical things going on and you're arguing with this person, you want to key this person's car and put sugar in the tank. That's cool. I'm not going to pull up for all that, but just know this. At the end of the day, you have a future and nobody else is going to make sure that you're okay but you.
Mhm.
So for me, a big thing that distracted me and kind of got me out of a lot of bad relationships was really throwing myself into my work, throwing myself into my music, into
Yeah.
school.
Yeah.
Like, I have other stuff to worry about. Like, yeah, you might not be, but also like I have stuff to do.
Mhm.
And that is what I would tell anybody, like find a hobby, something.
It's so weird because I felt like every single time I went through a breakup is when I turned up the most on the self-love.
Yeah.
I got fit, I
Mhm.
looked popping, I
Yeah.
made sure everything was like good. Like after I got through like the mess of like the depressional stuff,
Yeah.
after that I'm like, all right, no, now we gotta work on you, Allie. Like what are we
Yeah.
gonna do? Cause
Because you were picking up the slack.
have to.
You were picking up the slack.
Have to.
That's how we're supposed to live our lives though.
Hmm.
We're supposed to feel like that all the time. Cause
But
I
we
see
don't, but we don't
we
sometimes.
don't. We don't
Yeah.
sometimes. But yeah, I see girls sometimes, they'll be on such a good path and then they'll start dating somebody.
Hmm.
And then they'll be like, F everything. All the work you did is just like in the garbage.
They stop
And
working out, they
yeah,
start drinking, they do all these things. It's
exactly.
like you relapse.
You relapse because that self love that's always supposed to be there is only triggered when somebody hurts you or you know what I mean when you're not dating somebody. We should always have that self love.
Yeah.
So
That's
yeah,
interesting. No, that's an interesting observation because, yes, you're right. Like,
yeah.
it's almost like when you know the term like happy eating? Like
Yeah,
you're
yeah, yeah,
happy,
yeah.
but you're like just eating and getting fat. And it's like, or you're in a relationship and it's like, oh no, this is happy weight. And it's
Yeah,
like, what is that?
yeah. What
If
is
the
that?
relationship is healthy,
Exactly.
then you guys should be on this like health journey.
Yeah, your life should look the same all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So that's consistency is key when it comes
Hmm.
to that for sure.
So now, bad bitch energy. Is that this is where you're at in life?
It really is.
Yeah.
Because, now I know. Like I always knew,
Mm-hmm.
but now I know.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make an anthem.
Yes.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. And like I said, you have so many people trying to tell you what a bad bitch looks like. There's like this carbon copy, like cutout of what this is what a bad bitch is.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, there's a lot of different ways to be a bad bitch. So I
What are the
felt like
different ways?
I think being a bad bitch is just being confident,
Mm-hmm.
knowing who you are, and making other women feel inspired and not intimidated. I mean, I can't help if somebody's intimidated by me, but
Right.
the kind of women I'm talking about. There are some
Yeah. Yeah.
women that are they're just not for women. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
girl's girl. So I think a bad bitch is a girl's girl. A bad bitch is the girl when you're drunk in the bathroom that's telling you that you look good.
Yes.
That's bad bitch energy.
Yes.
And that's what this is. That's who I am. So
What's your tribe like?
I'm
Do you
still
have a lot of bad bitches?
I'm still building my tribe.
You building your
I'm
tribe?
building my tribe, but I do have friends. Like I've had like the same friends since like middle school. Like
I
I'm
love
not,
that.
yeah, like I'm not like a new friends. We go through our, our ups and downs, but um, Yeah, they're bad bitches.
Yeah.
One of my friends just had a baby. She's a bad bitch. My other friend, she's chasing her dreams as well. And they are, like I said, we're girls. We don't compete. We support. They come with me to my shows. Like they're very, for me. And
Mhm.
those are the kind of girls that I'm around. When you get in these circles, you meet a lot of people online, and sometimes people are friends just for the aesthetic.
Mhm.
There was that girl that was online, like, if you don't look a certain way, you can't go out with me.
Oh,
Stuff
yeah,
like that.
yeah. I
I
don't
don't
like
do
that.
that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I like being around real people. So my tribe is a lot of just real ass bitches.
I love this. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. Let's see how this goes with you.
Oh,
If you had to sing your last song, what song would it be?
oh, this is gonna be such a weird, but uh, a song for you by Donny Hathaway.
Mm.
Such a strange. It's just I feel
Why you
like
say
if I was,
strange? That's
you say it's my last song, like I'm
like
dying.
no, not like you're dying. Like
Oh,
if
I
this was
thought
like
I was dying.
no, you're no, girl. We didn't.
Oh,
What? No, it's just like the last song that you would sing.
that's
I
such
feel
a
like
crazy
if
question.
I'm not a singer, but if I did, um, I love oh God, I hope I don't like mess this up. Drive me to the moon. Let
Oh,
me play
okay.
another song.
Okay, the jazz. I
Yes.
know what you're talking about. Yeah, I think
In other words, that's
yes.
one of my favorite songs.
In other
In
words.
other words.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very interesting. When you say sing my last song, I imagine that like, the
No,
I
we're not
watched
in your funeral singing, girl. This
that's
is
what I thought you was talking about. You ever watch The Walking Dead?
no, I would never watch The Walking Dead
Why?
because I don't
Don't you
like.
want to be prepared?
No, I
Don't you
actually
want
don't want to
to
be
know?
prepared. No.
Okay, got it.
So I don't like scary movies and I don't like any movies that are based on a true story. Like just the
So you
idea.
don't like Dahmer?
No.
I feel you, me either.
No. Uh-uh.
But anyways,
Yeah, just the
yeah.
idea that like someone went through that
No, the families are like,
freaks
ooh,
me out.
yeah. No, the families are not happy about those.
Like like the Lifetime channel, like
Yeah,
that's not my
because that's real life. I have some friends that are
cuz it's real life.
they're really into that stuff. I don't know
No.
why, but some
Like I don't
people,
even watch like Saw 1, 2, 3, like none of those things.
Human Centipede,
No.
don't
Mm-mm.
watch it. But yeah,
No, I don't watch any
don't
of those
watch it.
things.
But my point was that there was a scene where this girl she's about to get eaten alive by zombies. And there was
Like
a song.
why? Why?
There was a song playing called Someday We'll All Be Free by Donny Hathaway again.
While people are getting eaten
And
alive
she
by
was just
zombies.
peaceful and they were eating her.
Oh my
And I
God.
was like, that's something that that's like a last song that I would sing.
Okay. All right. Holiday season. Let's take it back to holiday season. So now we're alive, we're celebrating festivities. What are some of the best, not expensive gifts, but one of those gifts that kind of hit you in a way where like emotionally it was a thoughtful gift
I didn't get a
that you
lot of gifts
received?
growing up, but gifts that I loved that I've received are like journals.
I love
I love a
journals.
good journal. Just love when they're beautiful on the outside.
Yes.
Love those. Love that as a gift. I'm a very practical girl.
Mm-hmm.
I like, like stuff that I can use every day, like candles,
Love
things
candles.
like that.
Love candles.
My love language is not gifts, but
Oh, what's your love language?
my love language is acts of service.
Mm, that's a good one.
Yeah. So I guess a good gift would be like promising that you're gonna do something for me,
Mm-hmm.
like making me breakfast, dinner, stuff like that.
Yeah. I remember for Christmas, my sister gave me a box and it had like all these little scrolls and you would open the scrolls and it was a prayer.
Oh,
And she said it was literally 365 and she said every day I'm praying for you. And I
oh,
cried my eyes out because it was like the most inexpensive gift. It was like literally
yes.
a little box and everything was handwritten, but it was the most thoughtful gift
That
ever.
is so thoughtful. And yeah, and those are like that's acts of service. Like that's the real gift. Somebody that's willing to do something for you. I think we're
Mhm.
able to buy ourselves things. That's great. That's awesome. But like to know like, hey, I'm here for you. That's the
Mhm.
best gift you can give somebody,
Yeah.
honestly. So yeah, now I want one.
Now you want one?
Somebody praying for me.
It's such a dope gift. I
It
always say it's
is.
like a dope idea if you are trying to get someone a gift, you don't wanna spend a lot of money, that's a
Yeah.
good, thoughtful gift.
Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah.
And anybody who doesn't see the value in that, I don't
Come
want to be
on.
around. Yeah.
So, now where do we go with your music?
Oh my goodness.
What's the next, like what's the next for the
So
upcoming year?
I
2023, what are we doing?
that is a good question. So I'm really in my like bad bitch energy bag. So I have
Mhm.
a few other songs, some that I teased online that are
Mhm.
just about embodying your, that.
Mhm.
And I love that. But also I've been as of late working with, a friend of mine and just getting some mentorship. And I want to release a project, but this is going to be a very vulnerable project. I hate to be the girl, I'm being the healed girl right now, but I am also the hurt girl. Like I've been through a lot.
You can be
So
healed and hurt at the same time,
I
by the way.
can't, yeah, I don't know. It's a,
Yeah, because there's different layers. So you can be healed
ah,
in one layer, but then there's
yeah,
still another layer that maybe you haven't tapped into, you're
yeah,
still healing from.
yeah.
Yeah, that's real.
So I don't know. One day I just started writing all these sad songs and it was like, that's it.
That's
So
the one.
I think that's what we should be expecting.
More tours.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm currently, enjoying, everything that's going on. I love traveling. But yeah, definitely tours. I'm a performer. So like I love being in the studio, but like I like being on stage singing with my supporters. So we gotta
I love this. Any last message to your fans who are watching?
I just want to say, like just thank them so much. I was telling somebody last night, they were asking like, like I gotta meet the right people, important people so they could put me on. And I was like, honestly, my fans put me on.
Mhm.
My supporters put me on. They plug me in.
That's right.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So, I just want to say thank you so much to them for rocking with me, for real.
Thank you so much for rocking with me
Yeah, of course. Thank
and Growing Up
you.
Latina podcast.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Savannah Cristina.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, this is Savannah Cristina. I hope you enjoyed my episode with Growing Up Latina with Alyi V. I'm looking forward to giving you more music, so stay tuned.
Thank you so much to everyone who has been listening or who has been tuning into the podcast on YouTube. We'll be taking a brief break for the holiday season, but we'll be back with more Latinas and we will see you in the Año Nuevo.